It's rare for a new game coming out for me to just hate on it before I even see what it's like, but that happened specifically in this case with Suicide Squad because the bigwigs got too greedy. They made a single-player campaign forced to be always online, and that is something that I will never ever stand for. And yes, they have since clarified that they plan on making a full-fledged single-player campaign that's offline only as well after launch. If that's the case, what's the rush to get into this one? And that's just the beginning of the issues with Suicide Squad. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. And yeah, Suicide Squad is, let's just say it like it is, a game that had some potential when I first heard about it and then has since fell flat on its face ever since launch. It couldn't even be up for more than an hour in New Zealand before a major glitch took it down, telling people that when they logged on for the very first time that they already completed the game. The game company Rocksteady behind this took the game offline, making sure that they could fix this bug, and have since updated everyone saying they found the problem and they're working on a fix. But this is a microcosm of the video game industry in the modern era that we find ourselves in, and it's only the beginning. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out SmashJT.com for my full article breaking down this entire debacle of a game launch with Suicide Squad. And right out of the gate, I'm telling you guys, I did not like the idea of an always online single-player campaign, but I was interested to see what the major review outlets were going to say about this one because it's a sketchy topic to talk about, and maybe there's some way to handle it that I didn't think of that was good. And then they ended up not giving early review codes out to major game outlets like IGN, and that just screams catastrophe. Tom Marks, the executive reviews editor at IGN, tweeted, "We won't have our review of Suicide Squad kill the Justice League at launch, as review codes have not been sent ahead of time. In fact, WB Games has declined to send IGN codes at all. We'll get our impressions up as soon as we're able after release. Thanks for your patience." And then he followed that up with, "To be clear, this sort of situation is exceedingly rare in my experience, and it's not going to change anything about how we cover games, Suicide Squad or beyond. We have an article with a few more characters, then a tweet that can fit here, and a link to their article talking about how they didn't get the code." And most of you already know that if a major review outlet like IGN, as much as you want to hate on them, is not getting an early review code for a game, that probably means that there's an issue with the game, and they don't want the word to get out. And when this tweet came through, I was like, that's suspicious. That's how you know a game is probably going to be garbage if IGN's not getting an early review code of a pretty major title. This one, I would say, is on the level of a potential AAA title, and not giving a code to IGN is quite suspect. But okay, maybe the people at Rocksteady Entertainment that made this game had an issue with IGN or some of the review outlets, or they just knew the game was going to be a smash hit and they wanted to surprise everyone all at once at the beginning, so they didn't give review codes. Maybe there's an alternative reality where that was the case. So I was going into this with, okay, let me watch this pretty closely to see what actually transpires when the game actually launches. And here we find ourselves with 1 hour after release, the game has to be taken down because of a major glitch that when new players logged on, it was saying they already completed the game and they were unable to play it. The game was taken down nearly immediately after people in New Zealand who had first access to this game got about 45 minutes into it and the servers got taken down. And right here is why I have a major issue with always online games. I get it for like a Call of Duty or a massive multiplayer online game that, yeah, obviously you need it to always be online because you're interacting with other people and that's how you connect multiplayer to other people. I get it. But Suicide Squad wasn't that. This is a single-player campaign mode that, for some reason, they decided to go with an always online requirement so that you needed your console and your game to always be connected to the internet to play this single-player game. And anyone that plays video games will know there are some major red flags when you hear that. The first thing the bell rings in my head is, what's going on with the microtransactions? What are you going to try to nickel and dime out of people while you're playing this game actively? Sure, there are some things that could happen in the game that could be cool and unique, real-time events because it's always connected to online, but we all know that's not what ends up happening. It's always about the greed and how much money they can squeeze out of a player. Suicide Squad RS, which is the Twitter account for the creators of the game, Rocksteady, tweeted out, "We're aware that a number of players are currently experiencing an issue whereby upon logging into the game for the first time, they have full story completion. To resolve this issue, we will be performing maintenance on the game servers. During this time, the game will be unavailable. We expect this to take several hours and will update once we have more information. We apologize for the inconvenience." And they've subsequently given an update stated that they found the problem. Great! "We have identified the problem that was affecting player profiles and are currently testing a fix. We hope to implement it and have the game back online as soon as possible. Thank you for your patience." This is what we deal with as gamers in the modern era. For a single player campaign mode that has no reason whatsoever to be online and always connected is now required to be always online and connected, and then right out of the gate it falls flat on its face. And this is the biggest issue with it is, what if the game is fantastic? We don't know because of these extracurricular issues that shouldn't be a part of the problem in the first place. Back in December, Rocksteady Studios told Video Games Chronicle that they do plan on making an offline single-player campaign mode post-launch. Why post-launch? Why are you rushing out the single-player campaign mode that's required to be always online right out of the gate, when that should be secondary to the focus of the main game of getting the actual playable game out first? We're happy to confirm we are planning to add an offline story mode that will give players the option to experience the main campaign without an internet connection. What a wild idea! Holy crap! Why didn't any other game company think about doing that? We're planning to provide this update in 2024 and will provide more details when available. At this point, they're clearly just jerking people around right now because they know they got a property that many folks, including myself, had some sort of interest in. I was wondering how well they were going to handle this property, and as I see it like this, I gotta be honest. I got so many games in my backlog. When I hear stories like this and the problems out of the gate that it's having, why the hell would I even bother even trying to participate in this launch anytime in the near future? If anything, I hear these problems and I'm like, bargain bin it goes. Maybe I'll pick it up eventually like I did with Anthem for $5 down the road. That's what happens when a game has a failed launch. And this is something that I'd shake the executives right in their face if they were trying to tell me, yeah, we're going to do an online only mode first. Like, you don't think there's going to be issues right out of the gate with that? You don't think that maybe you should consider a different take and maybe try to work the online only mode in eventually to the game once people finally get enjoying what the experience is without being always connected online? No, they don't want to do that because they know once people have the always offline mode, they're not going to have any interest in the always online mode, especially when it comes to a single player campaign. I still can't wrap my head around that debauchery. Whoever made that decision not only needs to be fired, but should never work in the video game industry ever again. That's how dumb it was. For future releases, both gamers and the industry would benefit from a more open and communicative approach, ensuring such debacles like this are avoided and the player trust is maintained. But for now, like I said, I'm sticking to the backlog. There's plenty of other games out there where the developers have worked tremendously hard on them and have gotten fantastic review scores across the board that you can put your time into that are probably, at this point, well discounted beyond what Suicide Squad at the launch price even is. That's what makes no sense at all in all of this. Anyways, that's the update for this. I just had to make a video on it because I just couldn't believe not only would a game make an online-only mode for a campaign, for a single-player mode, but then they'd also falter right out of the gate with a major bug that has to take it down. Like, you can't make this stuff up. It is so embarrassingly bad, and they have no one to blame but themselves. And honestly, I feel bad for some of the devs over at Rocksteady that worked their ass off to make this game as good as they could, but because of some bigwig boardroom director making this decision of, oh, it always has to be online because we're going to make more money that way, it ruins the experience that they worked so hard on. And I guess at the end of the day, that's my frustration with all of this. But anyways, if you want to read more about it or have all the links and references, check out smashjt.com. I will put this link in the description below for the article. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
Smash it,